This is Richard back at you. We got Justin's 83 Chevy pickup in the house. It come in here with a 350, just plain Jane 350, no lockup or anything like that, no overdrive. But we got to looking at the wiring, and we noticed that it had a lockup 350 in it at one time. We have the switch that kills the air conditioner that is over here on the side, and then we have your lockup wiring and stuff here. Now you can see all the wiring is just destroyed on the plug. Just a 2-wire system, pretty simple. And then you have your air conditioner kill switch for passing gear. So it had a 3-speed in it to start with, lockup. We're going to go back with the standard 350 that we did pull out of it and stuff like that. So, but we're going to put a stall converter in just a little bit to give it a little bit of red light to red light. So let's get this thing apart. Now we did already pull the pump out of it. We had to do this really quick yesterday so we could make sure we had the right pump gears and stuff like that, because they made so many different variations of pump gears and stuff. So unfortunately we didn't have the right gear for the original pump, but we tore down a couple cores and found the right gear that we had. But the body was too messed up on the body and stuff, so we ended up having to order different pump gears anyway. We found another pump body, turned out really nice here. The stator is really nice. It's still a roller bearing style. Anytime you see a roller bearing style, you're going to see this Teflon washer right here. I'm not really enthused on what they do here, maybe for lubrication circuits to keep oil on the bearing or something like that. I'm really not for sure. So, like I said, the gears that go in this pump body here is 724s or 25s, and the ones we had were 723. So you can't add, you can take away, but you can't add. So, but this is your intermediate piston here that goes in the back of the pump. So anytime this transmission shifts into second gear, it's always trying to push the pump out of the tranny. So you want to make dang sure that all your threads in your pump around your case right here are in really good shape. If they're not, you better helicoil them. Make dang sure that all these threads in here are really good. Because like I say, every time you shift this thing into second gear, it's trying to push the pump out. So now, make sure you replace all your bushings in here. If you don't, you could have converter drain back, stuff like that. It'll drain back through here. Now we have a special tool to get these bushings out and put them back in, to put them in the right depth and stuff like that. So, okay, now what we have right here, let's see, I'm going to stop right here since we want to go somewhere else. Let's do it this way. Now we're going to pull the tail housing off first. Get back here to the back. Now we have our speedometer seal here, or gear. We have our seal here. Now this has a metal bodied seal in it. It will not come in your overhaul kit. You'll have to order that separately. Luckily we keep these in stock because you have to pry this out, press a new one in because it's a hard body type seal. So it's the best seal out there, believe it or not. So now we do have a Yolk Seal here. Pull that off here. There's an O-ring in here. I want to thank the gentleman for sending me and Trent these little pry bars here, guys. These are the coolest little things. We want to appreciate you very much. Thank you, definitely. Yes. Now this is your Yolk Seal here. You always want to replace it. Put a little silicone on here and kind of seal this back on when you put it on. You have your speedometer gear here. Now you might not want to try this at home. I mean, I'm a little bit better at it, but it still can be a bear. You don't want to break this gear. Push down on it, unlock it, just make sure, and then you can kind of just work it. Just be gentle because that gear will break. When we go to put it back on, I'll take one of these like that and I'll put it on here because you want to tap it on depth perfectly straight. Just get you an 0400 Sun gear or something like that. Don't try to tap it on side to side, because it will pop every time, I'm telling you. And then you're going to be trying to hunt one down, and it's not going to be there to be found.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Now, we get a lot of people ask me why the governor gears break off on 350s. If you notice here, the shaft lays on top of the governor gear. So if you get wear in your tail housing bushing, if you get wear in your case bushing, this shaft will physically lay down on top of this gear right here and break it off or wear the teeth out. Actually the same way in a 700 tranny. They have a governor, same thing, does the exact same. They have that type of problem too. So that's why. So if you have bushing wear, changing the gear, it doesn't matter. You're going to make it worse because you're putting a new gear on there, and it's just going to make it worse. Now this gear here still looks really good. Governor looks good. Scotch-Brite this up really good. Always want to clean that and make sure that that valve moves inside. You can see it there. You can see a new governor gear here. Now you know the gears on a 400 will go the opposite direction, or excuse me, a 700 goes to the right, 400, 350 goes to the left. So they are not interchangeable. Now there is some modifications I could show you if you're going to do a fully manual type manual shifting and stuff like that. You can weld your governor weights out. They can TIG weld them here and here, but they don't move. And then also come in here, see that little, those? They can TIG weld it there. Same way here, TIG weld it where it's solid on all four ends. That, and then I'll show you the modification in the valve body. Really simple to make these fully manual. Really simple. But let's get the modulator off next, Trent, and then we'll go a little deeper here. Now this does have a red stripe modulator on it already. So that it's not factory or anything like that. This train's been built before, it looks like, by somebody. There's some names on there and stuff. So, but it is adjustable modulator. You can adjust the pressure on the inside. When you screw it in, it'll shift later and harder. Screw it out, shift early and softer. You can only take both gears and move them out. You can't take one and separate them or anything like that. That's all done in the valve body. But you can move them both out and both in, firmer or later, by that. So. Get this servo cover off here real quick. Now they've already got the spring left out of it, which is going to firm up second gear quite a bit. You always want to put new Teflon rings. You want to come in here and look. Also in here for any type of damage. These things are bad about breaking the springs in here and beating this to death in here and ruining the case. So if you get a bad case, or if it's beat up out here on the edge, you can kind of eliminate the travel of this piston a little bit and keep it from coming out as far into that damage area, and firm up second gear even that way, and shorten second gear because you shortened your accumulator stroke. So it just keeps the seals away from the bad area where it usually beats it up at, so where you don't destroy a case. Now we talked about that wire out there hanging that went to kill, when you hit passing gear, it turned the air conditioner off. Back in the day, this tranny would have a sensor right here that wire would plug into. Back in the day too, that sensor was bad about leaking. We had hundreds of these things come in the shop back in the early 80s and 90s for that sensor leaking right there. They're causing all kinds of crazy stuff. No lockup. Yeah, it was terrible. Just another problem child. Something GM just decided to do. They started making lockup and stuff. Here come the computers and electronics and all that type of stuff. Now we do have our modulator valve here. You want to blow through the end, make sure it's all clean through here. Make sure it's free. Some of your shift kits will come with a spring to put in here, and then you put the valve in. I mean, you can do it. See how it shifts and feels like that? If it shifts too soft or too early, take that spring out and it'll correct that. So, especially if you've already screwed your modulator in as far as it goes and you still don't like it, pull that spring out. I'm telling you, it'll firm it right up. Now this thing come in for leaks. Even though it's been rebuilt before, it was leaking out of every seal it could leak out of, believe me. So we got a nice cork gasket there. We really like cork. If you do cork right, put it on nice and dry, torque it, retorque it after you put it on a couple hours later. I mean, I'm telling you, they don't leak. So, gonna get our filter off here. I like 350 filters. They're always cleanable. You'll get the brass ones in here though, where the brass starts pulling out, the screen starts pulling around the edges and stuff, and the filter's no good. You don't see many of these being really bad unless it's had the train's been really, really hot and then mess it up that way. But you don't see much. The pan looks really good still. Probably never been serviced. We got a pile of stuff here. There was nothing in the, no magnet or anything like that to catch it. So it was pretty much there. Now our passing gear linkage we take off when we pull the pan and drain it. We pull the passing gear linkage off, that way we can disconnect the cable like that. Makes it a lot easier since we have to drain it anyway. So, of course we have our D10 here. Anytime you build these back, you want to make sure this isn't bent inward, because if it does, this thing can actually fall out when it moves. You got to be really careful. See how close it gets to the edge here, and it gets even closer this way. So you can take a screwdriver or a pry bar and try to bend that inward and get it in there a little deeper. I mean, that thing's, if you look at it, it's already bent.
You're right. I can see it.
You see how bad it's bent? I mean, it's turned inwards, bent like that.
Correct.
Crooked. So. Now this doesn't seem to have a shift kit spring or anything in it, in the valve body. If it did, you'd see an orange spring or a red spring right here. It looks like it's just got a factory white looking one. Now you can tell it has a Trans-Tech valve body gaskets on it. And they do have a case and a valve body side, so you don't want to get them mixed up. My little squeegee.
I'm telling you, that thing is still getting it. Whoever
I'm
sent that
telling
to
you.
us, thank you.
Yep, definitely. How you can tell the gaskets, you can kind of see this little Z right here. This one here doesn't have it. Now the lockup valve body gasket is different too. Now this is a non-lockup, but if you have a lockup, there's a solenoid and a plate right here, so it does have the right gaskets on it. Now the plate hasn't been modified for any type of shift kit or anything. If you leave your gasket on here, you'll see these two big holes right here in the gasket, but the plate is really tiny. You can drill both these feed holes out, okay? You're going to come in here and you're going to leave this check ball, and you're going to leave this check ball out. You're going to drill these two feed holes at 120, 130 thousandths. Leave the accumulator spring out of the side. Right here, the servo, or excuse me, the accumulator right here. You pointed at and got me off.
No, you're
say
good.
something
Well,
wrong?
I don't think I caught it.
Yeah. But you're going to leave these two check balls out. Leave the spring out here. You're going to leave your wave in. Never take your wave out of your second gear clutch. You're going to leave that in there, because if you take it out, it's going to shift way, way too hard. And you don't want to do that. So we're going to get over here and pull our band servo out real quick. You're going to leave it all alone. Put it back together with a new seal. Leave your band in. We'll take the park assembly off. So here real quick. And we'll turn this. You can take a screwdriver and get in here and grab this band right here and move it. And just pull everything out like this. That way it's sitting there like that. Now here's your intermediate clutches. So these things are pretty old. I don't know how long ago this thing's been rebuilt. There's probably a date and name on the case. I seen it earlier, something writing on it. And you have your band. It's just about gone too. See all the pitting? This thing is wore plumb out. We have our intermediate sprag. Now we're not going to update this sprag assembly to a 34 element or anything like that. We're going to leave the factory sprag assembly, just make sure it's in good shape. We're not going to make this thing trans brake or just shift so hard that he can't stand it, or it's going to break something. It'll be uncomfortable for him. So you want to check in here for any type of ring wear. You can actually see where the rings are wearing. This drum actually needs to be replaced, especially here on the end. It's just pretty deep. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep, sure can.
I mean, they are deep, deep. Now we are running high pressure rings in this tranny, the Teflon style right here instead of the standard steel style. These just hold a lot more pressure and last so much longer. So this drum will have to be replaced.
Hey, you like that screwdriver or something?
I'm gonna figure it out for
I
sure.
think I like it too. Just watching you use it.
Yeah. Now we do have a 4-clutch system here. Now we're not gonna upgrade this to a. Yeah, we are too. I have enough pistons over there. We're gonna do it no matter what. So we'll update this piston right here. I take about 20 of them over and have them shaved down every time, and that way we can add that extra clutch and steel in there. That 4-clutch on these just don't cut it. I mean, even I don't think this motor makes a whole lot of power anyway, but it'll keep it from coming back and stuff like that. So you want to check all these bearings. This is your forward drum here. Now you have a Teflon washer here, plastic style. So it's on the forward drum or the forward ring gear and hub. You always want to check here for any wear. You want to check this shaft here for any wear here. I mean, 90% of the time these shafts are just wiped out right here. Down in here where the bushings run. Like I said, if you have any type of wear through here, you can have converter drain back on this thing. And actually, if this shaft here is just wiped plumb out.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's rutted like crazy.
Hold on.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's deep, deep.
Yep. And it gets wide and then it gets narrow. Turn the drum. Yeah, turn it. Oh yeah, wide, narrow.
Yeah, like it had a vibration or something. You know, just
You see that? Yeah.
Yeah, smooth here.
Mm-hmm.
More plumb out there. So shaft have to be replaced. You can press this shaft out and put it in this drum. If this drum's good here, you definitely want to use it because they usually are wore out here too. So we can press this shaft out, put another shaft in the drum, and save it.
Cool.
So now we are starting to see some wear on the forward clutch here. And you see it's about 1/8 of an inch already gone. On this clutch here, you can see it. A little bit more notice towards the first hit of the piston against this clutch. Where on the top of the clutch, you don't see this right here. Do you see that?
Get back in there.
There's no wear on these, but the farther you get down, boom, here comes the wear.
Yes, sir.
And I guess it's probably because this piston coming up, and this will be the first clutch that starts taking the initial hit to start stopping this drum.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So now this definitely makes it obvious it's been rebuilt. So we have some different style clutches through here. We have a forward wave you want to leave in there on this unit. We leave a forward wave in just about all of them. Trans brake unit, no, with a high stall converter, we'll take it out. But other than that, we leave that wave in there. So now also, this here has a bushing that rides here. It's a plastic bushing. Or your bushing kit will come with a new bushing, physically brass. They are interchangeable. You can take and press that in this shaft or right here and then check it once you get it pressed in there, make sure it fits good. Or you can, if the plastic one's good, you can just stick it back in the hole, put the drum back in after you rebuild it.
What do you suggest?
I put the bushing in. It's in the kit. Pretty obvious.
Yes, sir.
So. But we're not going to add any more clutches here. We've already got 5 here in the forward drum, and we've never ever had to mess with that part of it. So.
It is good we got this guy to
Yep.
take this thing apart a little bit because he wasn't going to last much longer.
No. So this thing was leaking out of every corner.
Yes.
Every corner. Turn my flash and see if I can see that without my glasses on.
Come on, you got it.
Look
See?
at that, guys.
Focus. Nice.
I'm telling you, that's what it takes sometimes.
Yes, sir.
You can see your thrust washers here. Your new bushing here. There you. Kind of stick a screwdriver down into the bottom and tap it as you're pulling it, and it'll pull it off that spline right there. Just check your forward planet for any type of wobbling, any thrust washer wear, any wear here the bushing runs. Check that bearing there. See all your bushings in here. Check your sun gear on both sides for any type of wear. Same here. It's kind of hard to check it here without pulling it out, so you want to do that. Don't be lazy. Now they do, you can put a plastic one back here. If you race cars, we always go back with brass. The plastic does still work good in your daily drivers and stuff like that too. So you got your shell. We'll get this lower sprag assembly out. Now we will update this if it's got the small roller and sprag in here. We'll go out there and update this to a 4L60E style. See how much wear we got in here. Okay. You can see how we got some wear right here in the case.
Oh, yeah.
Where the sprag's starting to ride. See it right
it's
there?
already halfway through, huh?
Mm-hmm. So basically this case to me, you can put a case saver in it, and I have them over there to use. But man, I tell you what, this truck's so quiet that you'd probably hear that thing still clanking inside if you put that in there without that anti-clunk spring, because it makes it solid and you're still going to hear that jerking back and forth in there. If this truck was a little bit louder or something like that and he wasn't an older gentleman, then we probably wouldn't have no issue. But that there could almost sound like a bad U-joint.
Gotcha.
So. Now guys, you know there's no way to get this out except...
Just show them.
Well...
We don't ruin it. Okay, yeah.
We got to go outside.
Don't do this at home. Let me just say that. If you're
I mean,
not
they're physically... This one's turned so far that I can probably just come out here and drop it on the output shaft. Now, once I do that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here really ain't no good because you can't take a chance because I'm basically going for the case. I don't care about nothing else. So when I bring them out here like this, but you have to do it like this. You can come here, Trent. We just got to set them out here, and you can kind of drop it just like that one time and knock it out of there. Kind of a crazy walk, but we got it out. Now that come out very easy, believe me. Some of these men, Trent, have to get off the building and jump out the building and drive that thing into the ground. But that's the easiest way to get it out like that. You're not going to have any type of wave down in here. You're going to have your anti-clunk spring. And we're going to get in here and look at our planetary. There's really no bearings or anything down in here that you can really damage when you physically do that. See, there's no thrust bearing, it's just a thrust washer. So I was just kidding about throwing everything away. You see your lower reverse clutches. It does have a tab style. Now we can go back with a roller bearing style or put a 3-tab. Now if he's race car or something like that, we'd put a roller bearing. You know, this thing here, being that's a really light truck, not real big power, we could put a thrust washer back here, set the clearance up, and it'll last, you know, a lifetime. So you want to check here for any spline wear or anything like that. Any wear back here where the case bearing bushing runs. Now you want to pull this race out here and look at this sprag here. It's a roller clutch is what they call it actually. It's a narrow one. We'll go out here and trailer and get a wide race, or the race is the same, and just get a wide body here to put a wider sprag in here. And then we want to check our height here to make sure we get the right one here, because they do make 2 different thicknesses. So, not too shabby.
Saved it.
Let's say your here's your roller bearing here, sets down in here. Now they've already got a shim in here. This is aftermarket too, to lift it up. Once you lift it up here, it starts messing with your thickness here too. See, so you can put it together like this first, start messing with your clearances and stuff like that, and might not be able to get it set up. So, and have to take this out to get it set up right here. So sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. When we put it back together, we'll be checking it, even really good, because of we're completely changing the pump, and that's going to affect everything. So now, find my tool here. Your 4L60, so all your 700s, your 350s and stuff like that, take the same tool to get this piston out of the bottom here. Let me see if I got another spring set up here. Yes. Okay. Now, anytime I do a 350 back, this retainer doesn't have any way to hold the springs. So it makes it a lot harder to stand it up, put it all back together and like that. What I do is I grab a 4L60E or a later version, or excuse me, a 700, 4L60E, stuff like that. This will fit right back down in there, and you don't have to fight it. See, so I save all these just for that reason right there, to put that back down in there. Let me get this out real quick, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, we're not going to add any more clutches or change the piston down in here. I know you guys can't see, but let me get this started and then trying to show you down in here. Come on, there we go. Okay, you can see the opening of the snap ring right here. I just pushed that down, locked it in here. I'm going to get my tool, snap ring, and move over and try to get that snap ring out real quick. Turn it over. Come on. Come out the first time.
Sounded good.
Yeah, it did. So,
Nice.
now we'll release this and get this out of here. You're going to make sure it comes all the way out. If it hangs and you take this tool out, you got a loaded gun down in there that you're fixing to be looking at in the eyeball. So, but it did relax all the way. But you can see here that they're not mounted to the housing there. They're just going to fall out. See? So, get that bone out of there. But you can see here how they have the stands for the springs to hold it together when you put it back together, but it's a train wreck. When I can put that in there, put it down, you're ready to go. Same thing.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. You always want to change these seals. They're always hard as a rock. And see, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. I think you found a new friend.
Well, people don't take these tools, this piston out.
Yeah.
You know, they don't go that far.
I was talking about your new tool.
Oh, yeah. That works really nice.
You keep grabbing it.
I need to put a blinking light on it so I don't lose it.
Don't lose it. I'm gonna get him at
'Cause,
one of
man,
them
I tell you,
Apple thing,
this-
GPS.
Seems like we lose tools around here like crazy. Well, guys, we're going to get this put back together because I sure want to drive this truck today. I mean, I'm excited. Trent's got a lot of things to do, too. Trent, I want to thank you for recording today, definitely. Teresa and Annie are waiting on the cable guy. The cable guy. You know how that is, guys. But anyway, thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe. Push that like button. We definitely got a lot more to come. Y'all have a great day.